Here we go.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to give a couple minutes for everyone to trickle in. Make sure that you're on mute. If you want to tell us where you're calling in from, we love to hear that. Just type it in the chat. There's a little chat at the bottom. Let us know. We've got Diane here and Tegan here, all across the time zones.
Yes, all
Yes.
across the world today.
Got rainy weather, got sunny weather. All right.
What's happening for you, Diane? What's the weather for you there?
So here it's actually really, really beautiful. We're having like a little summer kind of spell. It got cool last week, but now it's getting warmer. So we'll see.
Copenhagen. I'm jealous, you guys.
Yeah, we have beautiful, I'm calling in from Copenhagen. We have beautiful weather. So, all right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm Ashley, the founder of Traverse Journeys. And so we're super excited to have you guys today. I'll just give you a little overview and then hand it over to Tegan and Diane for our fashion piece. For Traverse Journeys, we do small group trips and retreats in about 25 countries around the world. We have a big focus on transformative travel, really connecting you to the people that you're encountering, the land that you're in, the other travelers that you're with, and of course, connection to yourself, because travel is very transformative. We also are pay a lot of attention to sustainability in our travels. We have lots of different styles, whether we're out hiking out in nature, exploring beautiful little villages in France, doing a retreat in Latin America somewhere. But sustainability and relationships with the local economy and the local people is really important and a cornerstone of how we do these trips. So today, of course, our subject is fashion and how to travel or how to pack for your travels to Europe. So we have Tegan and Diane as our experts in this field. So I'm going to pass it over to them. Throughout, feel free and type any questions in the chat box. I'll be kind of monitoring that, and you'll have some opportunities to get some answers a little later on. All right.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tegan Aileen. So I'm so happy this conversation is happening today because these are actually like my two partners in work, and I love seeing them come together. I am the tour leader for the Traverse Journeys tour to the southwest of France. I am also a plus-sized and very pregnant at the moment model for Diane Kroe travel fashion. I'm 38 years old. I'm from Canada originally, but in 2016, I moved to France in the southwest near Toulouse. Now I live in the Midi-Pyrenees Mountains. And when I moved here, I was already working with Diane as a travel fashion ambassador and plus-size model. And it worked out really well for us that I would go back to Canada, do shows with her, and then come here and shoot the travel fashion collection. And that's what I've been doing over the course of the last 8 years that I've been living here. I also married my French husband that I met while I was traveling with Diane Kroe's clothes. And now we live here together in the Pyrenees. And I think it was about 2 years ago, I met Ashley at a Women in Travel Summit conference. And we kind of bonded over our love of travel and over like finding places that are kind of like off the beaten track and special. And I was gushing to her just about how much I absolutely love the southwest of France. And so she came down here, and together her and I developed the tour. And then with our first tour that we just launched in May of 2024, Diane actually came on the tour with us. And so Diane and I have like a long history together, and we realized that there was so much corresponding room between like her brand and what we were doing on the tour. So that's kind of how this conversation got birthed. And that's who I am in the mix. And now I would love to introduce Diane because she's absolutely incredible. She's an exceptional fashion designer with the Diane Kroe brand, whose innovative approach has made her a trailblazer in the industry since the 1980s. Diane's vast experience spans every realm of fashion, from sportswear to bridal wear, and her custom collections have become go-to for all women all over the world seeking stylish, flattering, and chic travel wear. Diane's breakthrough moment came early in her career during a backpacking trip through Europe, where she had firsthand experience with the challenges of traveling with cumbersome luggage. I think we all know what that feels like. This, along with some inspiration she had from two Scandinavian women who journeyed with nothing more than a tote bag, ignited the concept that would evolve the Diane Kroe brand. Her ability to see fashion not just as art, but as a functional and transformative part of life sets her apart from her peers. After honing her skills in pattern drafting in Italy, Diane returned to Canada, where in 1998, she launched her own boutique in Toronto. It was located across the street from a renowned bridal shop in the city, and Diane's boutique quickly became the destination for brides-to-be from across Canada who sought her elegant yet travel-friendly designs. Her work was perfectly timed, as it was at the forefront at the time for the rising trend of destination weddings. Her key eye for design and attention to the practical needs of her clients have earned her a loyal following. Through her career, Diane has remained ahead of the curve, offering creative travel fashion solutions to her clients, whether responding to the changing world after the travel, after major global events related to travel, or addressing the needs of diverse and daring body types. Diane's collections are a testament to her vision and dedication. Her designs have catered to every facet of travel, from luxury resort wear to exclusive spa collections, and even specialized clothing for cruise and train travel. Diane's influence continues to grow. Since 2017, you can find her traveling across Canada with me, actually, showcasing her designs at the country's largest artisanal shopping shows. And today, her online presence is thriving. We do bi-monthly virtual trunk shows that attract customers from around the world. Her clients are drawn to her not only because of her innovative designs, but also because of her limited edition styles and prints that embody the essence of the world of fashion, constantly pushing boundaries and redefining what it means to travel in style. Diane, thanks for joining us today. And yes, I wrote that for you.
Oh, that was beautiful. I think you covered everything.
I tried. I interviewed Diane. I was like, tell me your story. I'm going to write an intro.
Well, I think you pretty much, we've worked together for long enough. You pretty much know the whole story, but it's a long story, and how to put it into like a 5-minute.
Yeah, sorry if I like beeline through it quickly, but I wanted to like cover everything because we only have an hour today, and I'm kind of going to be fielding the questions out to Diane in this conversation. But I wanted to make sure everybody here who knows Diane knows a little bit about that history, but everybody who doesn't knows as well. So today we're talking about travel fashion, how to pack, and specifically we're going to look at Europe and how to pack for different European destinations and how to pack in a shoulder season. So I think it's really important, Diane. The first question I'm going to field to you is, let's just touch quickly on what a shoulder season actually is, because I think it's important. We had that question in some of our social media as well.
Mm-hmm. So shoulder season is usually the season that is a little less traveled, like during the busier times. Every country, I guess, will have a different shoulder season but depending what part of the world you're in. But shoulder season usually will fall into a time where the weather may not be quite as predictable. And that's like the reason why they call it shoulder season, because you can have like some amazing weather and it could be like perfect, or you could have like whatever, it could be rain or snow, depending on, what country you're in. So like this trip that we did in May was in that sort of shoulder season where we were hoping it was going to be hot and sunny every day, but the weather was unpredictable, and I was well prepared, but it was, it was like you need to really pack so you have a diverse range of clothes to cover all the possibilities.
Strategically, and I think that's also too where people can get overwhelmed or like come into a pain point, because especially on a shoulder season. So like we're entering a shoulder season right now. In Europe, it's the beginning of September. So for the most part, at least in France, all of the kids have gone back to school. So people that don't necessarily want to travel at peak season, when everybody is on holiday, they're going to start traveling now. So this is actually a shoulder season period here in France, and so was our tour in May. It was like shoulder season on the other side, but with that comes like a lot of unpredictability, and that's and especially now with climate change is something that we're seeing. It's a growing conversation in relation to this because there's so many things to consider. When weather was more predictable, traveling on a shoulder season was a question. And now that it's unpredictable, it's even more of a question and becomes even more of a challenge. So we hope today that we're going to help give some guidance into how you can think about that when you're packing for your next destination. But also I wanted to touch a little bit on the fact that we're talking about Europe, and Europe is quite a broad, it's a big place. It has 50 countries. And, look, just from where Ashley is in Copenhagen to where I am in southwest of France, the weather is drastically different. So I would also say it's really, really important to actually, research the place that you're going and consider geographically where it is, how close to water is it in the mountains? What is you can use general weather patterns as a guideline. And then how can you extra prepare for things that might be unexpected? This is a really important element when you're thinking about packing for Europe, because there is essentially no cookie cutter solution for this area. I would say like maybe France, Italy, and Spain you can find a lot of similarities, but if you're going across Europe, how can you prepare yourself for like being in somewhere like France and then going somewhere into like the Scandinavian countries? That's something that we're going to hope to address today as we're going through all of the thoughts and ideas we have. And Diane, like I said, Diane is an expert in travel fashion. So she actually creates a collection that is specifically designed for this. But our hope is also that you'll get some information you can take away so that when you're looking through your own clothes, you can kind of figure out, okay, this is what I need to take for me that's going to make sense for this trip in fall to Italy, or this trip in spring to, insert European destination here. So the first thing I think is really important to look at is, with the Diane Kroe brand specifically, we love the idea of capsule collections and wardrobes. And if you are in the fashion world online, you might have heard of it in relation to travel. Diane, can you just tell us roughly like what the concept of a capsule collection is for a destination and why it's something we love to work with so much?
So a capsule wardrobe is when you take like several garments and they all interact with each other, creating completely different looks. And so like you've probably heard about capsule wardrobes and so on, like, a lot of brands do them, and it's where you have like colors that will coordinate and match. In our case, we kind of take it to the next level because all of our designs are multi-way clothing, because in order to pack light, and especially we specialize in carry-on only, you have to have multi-way garments so that you can stretch your capsule out much farther than like the normal, just with normal clothing. And so what I do is I always create like different levels, right? So we have our foundation pieces, which are our basics. So you think of like the things you wear next to your skin. We have several different designs. In this collection, we included travel tights. We had the retro jumper, which is a pant. We have some tops. We have several. So we basically, for this trip, it was like, for me, it was 2 weeks. The trip itself was, our excursion was, I think, 10 days, and then I stayed, I think, another 5 or 6 days. So I had to think of what to pack for just over 2 weeks. So I chose like 5 bottoms, 5 tops, and a dress. as my foundation pieces. And between those, like I probably had like 100 combinations alone, right? When you interact them all. And then after the foundations, then we have the accent pieces, which you layer over the foundation pieces, which give you those layers, like when the weather changes and so on. And then we have our weather clothes, like those are the things like Tegan said to me, she goes, it's the forecast, there's gonna be a lot of rain, the temperature is gonna dip down, it's gonna get cold, like for this period of time. So
Which
I
is
had,
not what usually happens here
yeah.
in May, but unpredictability is kind of part of all travel, right? So yeah.
Then I had to think of my weather clothing, like the things that are going to keep me warm and dry, right? And then after your weather clothing, then you have to think of your like activities, like what are your activities that you're doing? And then you need to think about some accessories, and then the what ifs.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
And so can we just touch base on colors quickly? When you're putting a capsule wardrobe together, how do you think of colors? And how do you think of colors based on the destination as well?
Yeah, like, I mean, for your foundation pieces, it depends on like your skin tone, like if you prefer black, brown, navy, gray, like those are kind of nice neutrals. And remember when you're traveling, a lot of times you don't want to be traveling with light colors, especially on the bottoms, right? Because like you're going places, you're sitting on benches, you're in cafes, you're traveling on flights and buses and trains, and nothing worse than like sitting on some child's leftover chocolate ice cream droppings that they left behind, and then your day is like with white pants. And so I always say, like, find a nice core color that works for your skin type, and then start building your foundation with that. Then you start including prints. Like my magic key to the recipe is always look for prints that have that core color built into it, right? So for me, this grouping, I went with black, but like the prints I brought all have like black background in them, right? So the black will tie in beautifully with all the different prints that you carry. But if you like navy or brown or gray, then you look for those type of prints, prints with that in the background.
So it's safe to say start with one neutral color, like a black, a navy, a gray. I know a lot of people like to default to black, but sometimes also black can be kind of daunting. So if you want to level up from that, Diane and I have always said, start collecting foundation pieces in navies or in chocolate brown or in a gray, depending on what you like. And then you can like build the layers out on top of that. And then if prints are not necessarily, I remember when I started working for you, Diane, I was like not a print girl. And I looked at my closet recently and I'm like, man, the prints that I have these days, because I really started to see the genius behind like prints in some of like the accessory pieces that you make.
Yeah.
Because actually, like you said, when you're traveling, things can get messy, right? Like things happen. And with a print, it's so much harder to kind of like notice that anything is off, and everything always kind of looks extra put together. If you use it as an accent, it gives you like a little pop of something extra, and it really creates a cohesive look.
Yeah, the magic with prints is they never look dirty. And
Yeah.
so when you're packing light and you're traveling like I do with a carry-on, you can wear those print pants a couple of times, and even if they got a little dusty or something, they don't show dirt, which is really great. And all the fabrics I use, you can literally hand wash in your hotel room sink. And if you hang them to dry at night, they'll be dry in the morning. All our fabrics are wick away, quick dry, wrinkle free. And that's another key point, so that you can pack lights and you can keep on re-wearing your pieces, right? So you don't have to worry, you don't have to pack so much stuff.
So let's actually touch on fabrics quickly. I'm going to break down the formula in a little bit more detail for everybody. And then we're going to go into like the case study of how we came up with this concept while we were on the Traverse tour here in France. But before we do that, fabrics are kind of like, at least with your brand, they're incredibly important. And I think honestly, in travel in general, if you want to travel in a way that you could live for a month in a carry-on bag, fabric is a key factor. And I know it's a key factor in your brand. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yes, yes. So in order for you to pack a lot of items into a small space, you need very specific fabrics that are durable, yet lightweight, but yet can hold in the warmth, that are wrinkle free. The last thing you want to do is pull things out that are all wrinkly, because when you're on the road, you don't have time for ironing, or it's like the last thing you want to do when you're on vacation. So I source out really key fabrics. My favorite and I use for this trip, it's called Brushed Venezia. It's a poly spandex blend. It's what you use for workout wear, dance wear, all this type of active wear. But the key with this one is it feels like, if you've ever bought the bamboo, like the softest bamboo, it feels like that. It's so soft, and it feels like it's a natural fiber. But the problem with the natural fibers is they will hold water, they won't dry quickly, they will break down a lot faster, and and then there's like a lot of reasons why we use this fabric, and it's because it literally packs so small. And like, here's an example, like our entire foundation. So we have like 10 garments in this one bag. And that's because the fabrics that we use can pack like so well.
Yeah, and when you add on the fact with your brand that like everything does multiple things, so you can wear it as a dress or a top or a scarf or something like this, it really breaks down to like that idea that we were talking about of like price per wear, or like price per design or style. Like, it really becomes something that's like an investment piece that you're going to have
For a long
for a
time.
really long time, actually, because all of your pieces are also handmade in Canada too, right?
And because ethical fashion is so important for us, that we really did a lot of research. And at the end of the day, the best way to purchase is called value per wear. So you want to buy garments that you can wear many different ways, that cover many different seasons, that don't break down, like, after like 20 washes, that if you take care of them, you can have them for a long time. And you basically, we focus on people collecting things rather than them buying just because it's on trend. Like the top I'm wearing now is like 15 years old. It's one of our like best sellers, and like I wear it over and over again. I have like 2 of them that I go back and forth, but that's like our point. It's like you buy a good quality piece and you just keep it for and you do have to take care of it too. Like I always tell people, it's better to like wash all your pieces in a mesh bag, because I know women, when they're traveling, like I've had so many ladies tell me, like they go to these like laundry mats and they throw everything in, even their beach towels. And if you wash your clothes with the towel, you'll get all this pilling and all these problems. So you have to also take care of your clothes, right? So it's like we recommend a little mesh bag and then hang it to dry. And hanging to dry is also more ethical for the environment. It leaves a lighter footprint if you don't use your dryers all the time. So that also helps too. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's really, really great. I want to expand a little bit on the formula you were talking about earlier, just for everybody, so everybody's clear. This is kind of like a concept that you and I have been talking about for a while, and then we can actually get into the nitty-gritty of it and like go through what you packed when you came to France with us in May. So the formula that we think works the best for packing light to travel is to break down your packing into these categories. So first you would start with your foundation pieces. Now, if you're not working with Diane Kroe's brand specifically, then that would be like your basics. So your tops, your basic tops, you might bring tights. You might like to wear tights. Jeans. Jeans are something that like we always recommend to have like one good pair of jeans that can like take you the distance. And if you are working with Diane Kroe's brand, if you are familiar with her brand, in that case, it would be pieces like our travel tights that have the extra panel that kind of like cover your bum, or travel pants, which are like the same thing in a wide leg version. Things like the reversible bralette and the wherever dress that can be worn in several different styles. The convertible cami is a great foundational piece. The one for all top that Diane is wearing today, this top does 3 different styles, no more than that, probably like 4 or 5 different styles. It can be everything from like a casual top, the way she's wearing it now, to a halter top, to a bathing suit cover, and a little cocktail dress. Those would be what we would be considering the foundational pieces. And then what you want to add in is your accent pieces. So the things that you're going to add over top of that. And that is really going to be specific to where you're traveling and when you're traveling and what time of year, what you're expecting the weather to be like. So if it's a little bit cooler, you're going to want like things like a blazer jacket or a sweater, a cardigan sweater that can go over top. In Diane's collection, it would be pieces like our chiffon mariposas, our wrinkle-free chiffon mariposas, Versa wraps, the duster dress, and the new reversible blazer that she's going to be bringing out soon. And then you would go a step further and think about weather. This is really important. The things that are going to help you get through the trip when you're outside doing all of your activities. And this is kind of where things can get tricky for a lot of people. We find a lot of people want to bring big, cumbersome jackets and things like that. And that's always kind of like a pain in the butt when you're in the airport. You have big, heavy, bulky sweaters or big, heavy, bulky jackets, and then you have to carry them around. So really trying to find pieces and using a system of layering to kind of create your base, a layer of warmth over top, and then a layer of something lighter and water resistant over top of that is like a really good way to ensure that you have coverage. You're gonna, keep warm in a colder or wet situation, but you're still gonna have like a bunch of nice pieces that you can wear separately and that you can take off if the weather changes drastically. Another piece to add to that formula is the activity wear. So the things that you need specifically for your trip. So you might be doing yoga. So you have to bring the pieces you're going to need for your yoga wear. We always say activity wear, having a swimwear. I always say bring a bathing suit no matter what, because you never know. Like even if you're going somewhere cold, you might end up at a spa or something. So always have a piece like that. And then of course you have your accessories, which are like, the things you have to think about, like hats, gloves, scarves, sunglasses. Crossbody bags are really good for traveling, as Diane will attest to when we get into what she packs for France. And then of course shoes, which I think is like always a big conversation. And we'll touch on the shoes that Diane used on her trip here that were really, really good for this like mid-shoulder season year based on all of the activities that we did on the tour. But finding really good quality shoes, especially when you're traveling in Europe, I usually advise people, and I think Diane, you'll probably agree with me, that heels are never the way to go. You've got to try and find things that are comfortable, that are going to work with like a nice dress, or that are going to work with a pair of tights that you can really walk in. And I think straddling that line between like fashionable and comfortable can be kind of tricky, but I think you've kind of gotten onto something really good with that, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, but France, I was so impressed with the shoe stores there. They're not like here. I mean, because of all the cobblestones and people walk everywhere because there's no parking in the cities, people walk and they're stylish. And I could not believe that's my next trip is shoe shopping in Toulouse because
yeah. I think it's probably similar across other parts of Europe too, but they just make shoes differently in Europe because they meet a different level of what people need, you know, here.
Yes, here people drive everywhere. They don't walk as much. So, but that's a whole other topic we'll cover
Yeah.
another.
I think we could do a whole hour really just getting into shoes, because that's I think such a pain point for so many of us, and people that are like seasoned travelers at this point. They've found stuff that works, but it takes quite a while to find it, you know. But what I would like to do now is kind of just touch on the tour that we did. So like I said, I'm the tour leader with Traverse Journeys for the southwest of France. And when Ashley and I were talking about the tour, I wanted to design something that was going to show all of the various aspects of the southwest of France. It's very diverse. It has an incredible culture and history, but it's also filled with cute and charming, beautiful French villages, as you would imagine, but it also has a lot of outdoor activity where we are out here. So you can very easily go hiking and like climb a mountain. My husband and I live in the Pyrenees, and we're really passionate about the Midi-Pyrenees, which is the mountain range that stretches as a natural border between France and Spain. So there's a lot of outdoor activity too, but I wanted to kind of like create a tour that's going to encompass a little bit of everything. So you get to see all of like the beautiful, quaint French things you're hoping to see. And then you're also going to get to see like the more rugged side of nature, which makes it a tricky trip to pack for, actually, because there's a lot of things to consider. And one of the things Diane and I noticed is that like on the tour, everybody kind of had this idea like you're going to France, so you want to feel you want to have a certain chicness in your look and your style and your fashion, and we very much cater to that as well, so we got it. But there was also like this level of, okay, today we're going to go, like you said, Diane, climb a mountain. So how do we straddle that, you know? So our tour, the Southwest of France tour, is in May every year. And May, it's like we said earlier, it's a shoulder season. So for the most part, in the last 8 years I've lived here, the weather in May is excellent. However, with climate change and everything changing in the weather, this year we had an exceptionally wet year. And I don't know, it feels like that might have been across the board in many places, but at the time we didn't know what was going to happen. And so we found ourselves in a lot of situations where one minute it'd be quite warm and sunny, and then the next minute would be kind of like cold and rainy, and that could happen like within one day. So how do we really kind of pack to kind of, or how do we dress even while we're here to make sure that we can cover ourselves for all of that? And I just found like on the tour, Diane really had it, because she's an expert. She really had it nailed. And so it's important to think about when you're packing for a trip, when you're packing for a tour, there's always certain types of days. There's going to be your travel days, the days where you're traveling from place to place. There's going to be the days where you're maybe in a city, more like type environment, days where you're relaxing at your accommodations. For us, it was a beautiful chateau. For our tour, we do some nature excursions, and then we also do village excursions. So I was hoping at this point we could really get into the stuff that you packed, which is behind you, because it was quite good. And I know that you traveled with just that carry-on and that tote bag there, and you put all of that into it, right?
Yeah, so every single thing you see here all fits into a carry-on. And I had to really do my research, because in Europe they have quite strict rules, and the airlines don't take carry-ons as big as the ones they do in North America. So I actually contacted my airline. I got the restrictions for the carry-on. Then I went and bought a carry-on that followed within those restrictions. And so that's like one key point, is always look for your the size of the carry-on that you need. Tegan, are you still there?
Yeah.
Lost you.
Yeah.
I have someone named Katharina on on my Zoom.
Hi. No, I'm here though. I'm here.
So that was the carry-on because I work also while I'm traveling. This one has a space for my computer, which is super handy, but, and that even allows more space, but at the end of the day, I like to always bring a beach bag for my personal item, because beach bag, you can just keep throwing stuff in, and it kind of can, it just, I feel more comfortable with a beach bag. That's just me. And so Tegan told me beforehand, she warned me, she said, you're going to be climbing a mountain on this trip, and the rain is like crazy, like it's raining a lot and it's getting cold. So with all
We
those,
had no idea what it was going to be like. Would it be nice? Would it be rainy? It was like really hard to tell this year.
yeah, we started off like the weather was kind of nice in the beginning, then it got cool, and then it got hot. Like we were by the pool, like on the last days, we were like in bathing suits by the poolside. So we had a really big range of weather, which, I was really well covered for. So, I mean, do you want me to just go through like the pieces now? Are you ready for that?
Yeah. Yeah, let's get into it. Why don't you show us what you packed that really helped you for like the days where you were like traveling from like country to country, and also like the pieces that kind of saved you like on the trip, like when it was those cold days, like those layers.
So normally when I travel for a trip like this, I like to break down my foundation pieces, like 5 tops, 5 bottoms, and 1 dress. That kind of gives a lot of coverage, and I know I'm covered for that. So what I did for my foundations, and they all fit into like this. So you can put, like, you put this in your carry-on, and you've already got, this has 10 garments in it. And what it has in it is, I packed travel tights. I have 2 pairs that I packed and 1 pair that I wore on my flights, which I call my travel uniform, which is over here. And then I always bring like a wherever dress, because this dress you can wear so many ways. You can dress it up or down. It's a long skirt, it's a strapless dress. And then if you want to elevate it, you bring like the matching bralettes. And then you have a beautiful outfit, which I wore at the chateau one night. And then we wore it for some fine dining, another beautiful lunch we did on a patio. And the fine dining day was hot, so it was perfect. But then at the chateau, then I layered a Versa wrap over it. So, and then I also packed my retro jumper, which is, it doubles as pants. You can wear it as a wide leg pant. You can wear it as a almost like a harem pant. It turns into a jumper. Like, it's just like a multi-way jumpsuit that gives you lots of options. So I wore this for like at the chateau, for lounging, for breakfast or lunch or dinner. It was just a great piece to have. And then for when you're in the city and you're doing a little touring around, it makes a really nice pant too for a leisurely day. And then I brought a convertible cami, which is great. You can wear this with the V-neck in the front, or you can wear it with the crew neck. And then it has these little detachable tabs, so you can give it a sweetheart neckline. You can give it like a Grecian neckline. It has all these options in like one simple t-shirt.
And one of the best parts about that convertible cami is the fact that those little tabs can also go around your bra strap. So if you're like a woman that absolutely needs to wear a bra with all of her clothing, which Diane has many customers like that, those tabs will actually keep your bra strap in place. So it's not like falling out and you don't see it all the time, which is really cool.
It just hides your bra strap, and it gives it a nice clean look. And then the other top, so the origami is both a top and a dress. So you can do a lot with these. It's an asymmetrical piece. You can wear it as a top, wear it as a dress. You can wear it as a cocktail dress. Like it has so many ways to wear. And I considered it on this trip as a top, but you can also consider it as a dress depending on how you're packing. And then an Explore More sweatshirt is always a must-have. These are great. They're cozy, they're comfy, and they also go into a halter. You can wear it as a halter top. You can also wear it as a cover up over a bathing suit, or even like when you tie the sleeves around your waist, you can wear it like over swimwear. You can wear it as your like little pajama in your hotel room. It covers a lot. And these I wore like for when we went on our like hikes and so on, because it's a nice cozy layering piece. And then of course, a pair of jeans. You always have to have a nice pair of jeans, especially on the days that we're colder. You know, jeans are like a little bit warmer, So that worked out really well. And so those are like these are my foundation pieces. And then I also, in the foundation pieces were also what I wore on the flight, which is a pair of tights and a one for all top in black. And I'll go over my travel uniform at the end. And the concept behind that, I call it my travel uniform because it's so comfortable. It's like wearing your pajamas, especially for long European flights.
It's like wearing your pajamas, but not looking like you're wearing pajamas, but feeling like you're wearing pajamas, which I think ultimately like is the goal. I don't know about all of you, but for me, that's like my life goal, just like in general. I wouldn't be that comfy all the time, you know?
Yeah. And so then the next grouping is called the accent pieces. That's what I like to call them. And those are all the pieces that you layer over your basics, right? So for example, like when we hiked up the mountain, so this is like a hoodie. And I did this trip, like a nice little dressy hoodie is like a must have. And so this one I wore like, I got a lot of use. Like some of the touring, the village touring, I wore this climbing the mountain. It's just a great little layering piece. It's got like a hood, like if it gets cold, you want to cover your head, you've got the hood. And then this one converts to like a very glamorous, like off shoulder kind of fun piece too. So you can dress it up. And
so that's a hoodie that you can wear sporty, like a hoodie, or take it off shoulder and make it kind of dressy. So, okay, for anybody here that it's a Diane Kroe customer, I know what you're thinking right now, and you're wondering, I didn't see that on the website, and it's because it's not. So don't freak out. It might be, it's a kind of a teaser. It's something that we might be introducing in the future.
It's actually a design I made like maybe 12 years. It's 12 years ago originally, and it's part of the designs I would do for resorts. And like there's a famous spa here in Canada. I designed this as one of their signature pieces, so that when their customers bought a hoodie, it was like a special hoodie that no one else had, right? But for like, if you're just working from this concept from the pieces you have in your wardrobe, like any hoodie will do for, you know, for the trip.
So for those of you asking in the comments, I don't know, maybe the comments are coming to me a bit delayed. So basically what we're saying is a hoodie is a good thing to have as an accent piece for traveling in general. In this case, that hoodie is a Diane Kroe hoodie, but it's not something that's available on the website yet. It's something that she actually designed a long time ago, and it's something we're talking about potentially bringing back. Sorry, Diane, as you were talking, I was seeing all of these comments coming up being like, what about that hoodie? Where's that hoodie from? And I told you before this started, I said, people are going to ask about that, because even when I saw you wearing it at the chateau, I was like, what's that? I want one. You know?
It's funny because like I like to wear, so when I design something, it's because I want to wear it. It's something I would wear. And so that, and I made lots of these for like, again, hotels, spas, and so on. So I actually just still wear them. It's amazing, but I will bring them back because they are super handy, and I probably should put them in this and are on the website. But anyway, moving along. So the other piece that I brought for an accent piece is the Mariposa. And the reason why is these Mariposas are made out of a chiffon, a super lightweight, and they literally pack like so small, like you could stick them in your purse. But they're so handy. You can wear them so many different ways. So like, for example, I would wear this as like my like my robe or something, like in my hotel room. I wore it to the dinners, like one of the dinners at the chateau, like one of the more elegant dinners. You can style this, I think it's like 12 different ways. I wore one to a wedding just a month ago as my like gown for the celebration. It's one of those pieces that you can literally use as your bathrobe, or you can wear it to like a formal event and look really put together. So these are super handy. And then
Diane, can we touch a little bit on, because we're starting to run low on time and we still want to give time for questions. So can we touch, there was a few key things that you had there that were really interesting in relation to activity wear, your travel uniform, as you call it. And I really wanted to talk about a couple of the accessories that you brought that were not from the collection that you just really, really loved. Is it okay if we touch on those quick? Because we still want to leave like maybe a couple minutes for questions for anybody that has any.
well, I guess we should talk about the weather wear, right? Like that's
It was an important element, yeah, really.
yeah, so the layering pieces are here. I would say I packed 2, 4.
Yes, we could send a list of what she took. We'll include it somewhere.
6 pieces I packed, and then 1 that I wore. For the weather, because Tegan told me be prepared for the rain. So I got this raincoat and it literally fits into like this little bag. And this little bag is like, so it takes up hardly any room in your suitcase. And it also doubles, like I would throw my phone in it and my glasses and stuff when I'd go out down for dinner at the chateau. But so when you layer this raincoat over the glacier fleece minky wrap, you put these 2 together and it's like having a winter coat on, because this glacier fleece is what they use for like mountain climbers. They use for their like sweaters and things they wear underneath. So it really holds in the warmth. And then with the layer over that has this like waterproof fabric, it really insulates you. So if it snowed, I would still be warm on this trip with those 2
I think
pieces.
a lot of times when people talk about European travel, they talk about layers, and people will always tell you, oh, just pack layers. But there's really actually like a strategy when it comes to layers to consider. And I really like the way that you work with layers, because having that like warm polar fleece underneath is really, you can wear like in a springtime setting, you can wear a lighter water resistant shell like jacket over top, but you're still gonna get that warmth underneath. And if you need like a longer sleeve, you have a longer sleeve shirt, or if you want, you can put a camisole underneath and you can still strip back afterwards.
And the thing
if you need to.
with the glacier fleece wrap, it's a very elegant, like you could do it off shoulder, you can put like a pin in it and really go out for a beautiful dinner and look well put together. But also you can just wear it like to do an excursion at the same time, which is the key point for this kind of packing, that your pieces have to take you right across the board. So and then so getting into activities, we have the bathing suit that I packed because we have the swimming pool. I threw in an endless to go with it. So then now I have like a whole dress. The endless is a bathing suit cover up too. It's a scarf. It's like so many different pieces. And when you team it with the, we call this a swimsuit bodysuit. And you can wear it like with your travel tights, and it looks like a little tank top, and it's reversible. So it's got a different print on the other side. So it's more of a distressed charcoal on one side, and then it's got a beautiful print on the other. So you get lots of use out of it, not just for swimwear, but just for everyday wear.
And just so everyone knows, obviously Diane has this amazing collection. Of course, this is what she's packing when she came with us. And we're not going into depth of all the ways you could wear all of her pieces, because we would be here for like a really long time. But if you go on Diane Kroe's website, we have plenty, almost every product has a video. We have the Channelized app that's part of the website where you can go watch other videos of Diane showing these pieces. And we also do the trunk shows almost bi-monthly, where we could get into depth with those kinds of things. So if that's something you're curious about, just to let you know that that information's out there in social media, but for the sake of time today, obviously, we can't really get into the depths of it. But let's just say everything does a whole bunch of things. I wanted to talk to you about shoes quickly, because we said it at the beginning, it's a huge part of it. And you came with some really like innovative shoes for this trip that worked. It covered a lot of range of things.
You can do me a favor and talk about Michael and his idea of shoes while I plug in my computer, because the battery, I just have to recharge it. So just
well, Michael is my husband, for anybody who's curious, and on the tour he actually assists with some of the more intense activities. I say intense, it's intense depending on your abilities, but he's really he's an expert in hiking. The legend is he took his first steps in the Alps when he was 5, and he loves hiking, and he loves just taking people out into the wilderness. So we had 2 opportunities for him to work with the people on the tour if they want. We had like a day where we do an excursion up to like an ancient castle ruin, which is a smaller excursion. And then we had a day where we did like a longer distance hike through a forest. Originally we were gonna actually do like a summit, but the weather wasn't good, so we had to kind of change things up a little bit.
yes.
But what you would pack for a summit, like in terms of hiking, and a lot of you also have booked tours with Traverse before, so you probably know this, you need a certain type of footwear that's designed to do that. And it's not the same as a fashion forward footwear, let's say.
So Tegan warned me about that, and she goes, you're going to be climbing up a mountain, right? And so I had gone out and I bought all these like shoes I thought I needed for the trip. And then I ended up going back to the store and asked the girl, I go, this is what I'm doing. And she had just come back from a trip to Europe, and she said she had a pair of Nikes that she had to like replace with something else, because she said she did so much walking. And I go, what did you recommend? And she swore by these shoes. They're called On a Cloud. And I looked at them and I'm like, I don't know, they're not really my style or anything. But I said, I have to put practicality over style for this trip. And I tell you, like, they had these treads, they were so comfortable. And the one thing I do know, if you don't have comfortable shoes on your trip and you get blisters, it's like your whole trip is like a mess, right? So the key point is to really find great comfortable shoes to do a lot of walking in, and a pair of white ones, and they were super handy. They're bulky too, so you have to wear them on your flight, not pack them, because they'll take up half your carry-on. But I really recommend. I would have never bought them on my own, because again, it's not like my personal taste, but they actually were cute, and a bunch of ladies from our trip ended up buying them too, because they all brought remember the cute running shoes, and then they went up the mountain and they were like, oh, I think I should have had some better shoes for that, right? So I always recommend super comfortable walking shoes. And then I threw these in, these little mules. These are like, I wear them as a slipper. You can wear them out for dinners and so on. They're called birdies, and they're a slipper shoe, which is amazing, and they're super durable.
Going back to that pajamas as clothes idea. And also these were really great for like, when we were having dinner at the chateau and you just want something quick to like slip on and go down and have a glass of wine.
Dinners, like with the travel tights and the top, and then those little mules, like it really elevates your look, and they're super comfy. And especially after a long day of hiking, it's like you're wearing slippers around the chateau. I brought sandals. These come from the Greek islands. It's called ancient Greek sandals. They're so gorgeous and so comfortable. And those I wore on the hotter days when we toured around the city, like when I did the wine tour and the chocolate tour. These were like so comfy. And then like if you're doing carry-on only, like those 2 pairs in the running shoes, if you're wearing them on your flights, are more than enough. For me, I bought these are called Tropical Feel. You got me buying these. And then
Yeah, I love this brand so much. They're a small brand, but all the shoes that they make are specifically designed for travel. So you can really take them like from us. They're actually water shoes, first of all. So the whole concept is that you can swim with them on, and they're lightweight, but also you can take them into the city with you, and they're comfortable enough to do a lot of like city excursion exploring.
And the thing is that you told me it was raining and I can't fit wellies into my carry-on. So I figured, okay, those I'll just throw in for the cause they're water shoes. So even if they get wet or whatever, I'll just wear them in the rain, and they really solve that problem. So as far as shoes go, that's what I packed and that's what I wore. If someone's a little dressier, then you can do something like these that I'm wearing here. I don't know if you can see them, but they're like a really comfortable brand called Nayot, and they have some cute little sandals that you can elevate into the evening. Like if you
Can you also tell us the brand name for the rain jacket?
So this rain jacket I got from Cole Haan is the brand. And the reason why I picked it was because it fits in this cute little bag, and it literally takes up like hardly any space, but yet it's really nice. Like it's got these really great like little adjustable, you can make it so it looks stylish and so on. So I like that. And then what I did is for my crossbody bag, I got this from Tumi, which is a travel brand.
And that's your carry-on is Tumi as well, is that right?
And this Tumi I bought this first, and then I bought this because I love the way that the zippers all match up. And plus these are brands, again, like my brand, these are investment pieces. They're not cheap. They're not like cheap pieces, but they're pieces that you have forever. Like if you take care of them, you'll have them for a long time. And then
yeah, it's like one of another travel creator we know, Hannah Logan. She said something interesting the other day that was to the effect of like, I'm not going to buy clothes specifically to go on one trip. Like if I'm going to buy something, it's going to carry me over to multiple trips, multiple destinations, multiple situations. And I think that that's something that you and I both agree is like a huge point in all of this as well. And that there are things that you can find that will go the distance at home or abroad as well, if you kind of shop with this overview of what we're talking about in mind, right?
It's an ethical practice. You don't want to buy like wasteful things. You want to invest, you want to collect pieces over time. And then when you're going on a trip, it's like, okay, I need this, and this, or that, depending on the trip and where you go. So, yeah.
So I think we're really running out of time right now. I think there are some questions we've got to field. So let's maybe get into that. Sorry, we tried so hard to keep it in an hour. It's so hard. We can talk about this like all day.
That's totally fine. I think what I'll do is I'll take a minute because I know sometimes, you might have plans after an hour. I'm going to pop in a little message from us here at Traverse with a little information on the France trip that we've been talking about. We have a discount code for you. Keep an eye on your email because we'll send a follow-up with the replay, with all the little details about everything, and a little special discount if you get any Diane Kroe clothes if you sign up for the France trip. So keep an eye out for that. That'll come from my address, which is hello@traversejourneys.com. Things get stuck in spam sometimes, so if you don't get it within the next 24 hours, just check there. So I'm going to send this, and then let's go to some questions. All right, Tegan, so brands, the carry-on, we touched on the rain jacket, but maybe say the shoes again one more time, and then the shirt that you're wearing.
Okay, so the
The shirt
shirt,
that I'm wearing, or the shirt that Diane's wearing, or that I'm wearing?
I don't know if you're wearing the same one, but you, Tegan, that you're wearing.
Okay, so I am actually wearing, I'm not wearing a shirt. I'm actually wearing one of Diane's pieces called a carry-on cozy, and it's a poncho, actually, because I'm very pregnant right now. So I need things that cover my tummy. But this is a Diane Kroe carry-on cozy in velvet, actually. And the shoes. So the shoes that had like a lot of grip that were good for some of the nature excursions were on cloud. They're called On Cloud. The water shoes that Diane and I both really love that can be taken from the water into the city and that are you can swim in them. That's from a company called Tropic Feel. Someone also mentioned that they make a really incredible travel backpack as well, and that is true. The shoes, the beautiful sandals that Diane has, they're from a company called Ancient Greek, and they specifically do the style of like the Greek sandal, but they make a really beautiful, like comfortable, walkable, beautiful sandal. And and the birdies. The birdies are like slip-on slippers. They kind of, they're really good for just like when you're at your accommodation, if you want to go have dinner, you know, you can just slide them on and they're really soft and comfy. I've been wanting to get my hands on a pair of those as well. I think, Diane, we said your carry-on is a Tumi, and so is your crossbody bag. Is that right?
yes.
And then, sorry, can you remind me the name of the brand of the jacket again?
Cole Haan.
Cole Haan. So those are the pieces that are outside of the collection that we think are really good for like accessories and things like that. And then of course, all of the pieces that we went through today are from Diane Kroe.
And we'll do a follow-up email. So we'll have the Traverse follow-up email with the replay and your discount codes and all that. And then Tegan and Diane will be sending you guys also another follow-up email. We'll make sure and include like the names of what we've been mentioning because I don't know them all, so I'm not necessarily going to spell them all right if I put them in the chat. So we want to send you to the right place. So we'll gather all of that. And just to say one thing too, I really appreciate you guys, what you're talking about with shoes and the layers, because anyone that's been on a Traverse trip, which you two have also, we love being active and we walk a lot. That's one of the joys of slow travel and taking things in. And so these pieces of comfort are really important. And I love it because in Europe, you know, you can do both. You can like look cute with your white sneakers maybe too, which is definitely a thing here, but also feel really comfortable in what you're wearing.
Yeah, for sure. And I just saw a question somebody asked. I know, sorry, we didn't get to go over everything that Diane had there, but we can put a packing list together with details and links of like everything that she had there. And like I said, we can also link to places where you can find more information about that on her website and online as well.
If anyone has questions that you want to pop into the chat right now, you're more than welcome to, and we're happy to answer them.
Yeah, I've been seeing them come up as we go. So I was trying to like pepper them in as we go, just in case, because I wasn't sure. Do you
fold or roll?
Fold or roll? Oh, that's a good question, Diane. Do you fold or roll?
So if I'm just doing my carry-on and I don't have any packing cubes or anything like that, then I'll like just roll. But in this case here, like for this whole foundation collection, like for all those pieces, I actually just folded them. And this is like a Ziploc bag and there's like a little air thing and you just sucks them in. I almost find it goes flatter when you fold. And if you're gonna put it inside of something like that.
I'm also a folder, and I think it's probably because I travel with your clothing too. Maybe but even when I don't, I think I fold as well. I just find that they lay much like thinner and it's easier to layer them. I know the big trend for a long time was rolling, and I never fully quite understood it. Like I guess maybe it seems like you could fit more in, but I always found that I fit the most when I could fold things and kind of strategically kind of lay them out.
The reason people roll is because they've got a fabric that's wrinkly, and when you roll, you get less wrinkles. But in our case, we don't, none of our fabrics wrinkles, so you can fold or roll. It doesn't make a difference. You can even smush, and it won't make a difference.
Smush.
And
I
I
like
can
that.
say,
Do you fold, do you roll, do you smush?
Yeah.
Somebody just asked, they want to know about the travel uniform, and I really actually did want to talk about it. Can we just like cover it quickly? Because I feel like it's kind of genius.
Yeah, so this is my personal travel uniform. It's just when I'm on a long flight, especially going to France, like I think everything was 15 hours from the time I left my house till the time I got to you. And that's a long time. So you need to be very comfortable. I run cold all the time, so I'm always cold. And so I wear the travel tights, which I love because they come right down, like you can pull them down long so that they cover your whole leg. Or if you get hot, you can raise them. They come up to a 3/4 length, which is nice. And then I then layer this over, which is called a freedom pocket. And the reason I use these is because I like to have my phone, my earbuds, my glasses, my passport, and my boarding pass if I have one. I like to keep them all on me, on my body, especially when I'm traveling, like maybe in a busy airport, like if someone steals my phone, my whole trip is ruined, right? So I like to keep those things very close to my body. And especially when I'm on my flight, I like to have them on me so that they're easy access. And if I fall asleep, like I don't have to worry about where they are. So that, and then on top of that, it's what I'm wearing this top here. It's called the One for All top, and it's super comfy. You can wear it as a halter top. Like if you get to your destination and it's hot, you can turn it into a halter. It's nice and it cools you down. If you're cold, it's a long sleeve. And also, if you get stranded like I did, because I missed my connecting flight, so I was actually stuck in Paris overnight. It also turns into like a little, I wear it like a little nightgown because you can tie the sleeves around your waist, but also it makes a great bathing suit cover up, and it also makes a great little cocktail dress. So you're covered no matter what with that. And then the bulkiest piece I travel with is my Glacier Fleece wrap. And that I use it as a blanket on the flight. It's nice and cozy and warm. And when you're traveling, you always wear your bulky pieces pretty much on your flight. So, and then I wear the running shoes. So these were the two pieces that would take up like most space in my carry-on. So I wore those. And so that's my travel uniform.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. So I think we're definitely we're a few minutes over right now. So I guess we're going to have to wrap it up. But, if you guys have any more questions that you need to field to us, you can always find Diane online, and I'll just let Ashley kind of
no problem.
So.
And I was trying to catch most everyone's questions, but just to reiterate, we'll send a list with names and links and all the things that they've been showing you so that you'll have that. We also have quite a few packing lists, like how to pack for a retreat, how to pack for Europe, and a little bit more general, not specific as in this one, but that's helpful for like the different weathers, because also we also do adventure travel with, hardcore hikes and outdoors. I'm going to be bringing some Diane Kroe clothes, which I'm super excited, to Panama, Denver, Austin, and Patagonia. So I'm going to make them work in all those places. So I'm super excited for that. So we'll send you some of our blogs that we have with some of our favorite travel brands like Osprey, which is really great for backpacking. Oh, Diane, did you say what kind of bag? I have an Eagle Creek carry-on bag that I really like. It's great for European size. It's super durable. I don't remember, Dan, did you say which brand?
Her carry-on is the Tumi, I think.
Mine is the Tumi, and I called KLM. I found out what the measurements were because some airlines are really strict. And this one, you can fit your computer in because, again, I travel for work, so I always bring my computer. So that's a key point for me.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll send a few other little links that you can look for stuff and get excited about your travel packing. So I think that's it for today. I sent everyone the France link, and we'll be sending our follow-up email with everything that you need to know. And thank you so much, Tegan and Diane, for your time today and for all the preparation that you put into this. So we can't wait to see you again.
Thank you so much, guys. We hope
Thanks
you
so
enjoyed
much.
it. And
Bye,
like I said, if you
everyone.
need to find any of us, you can find Diane on Diane Kroe Style on Instagram or dianekroe.com. I'm Tegan_Aileen_ on Instagram. And of course, I'm sure you guys all know where Traverse Journeys is. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
One.